and try and ask some questions to see just how solid the foundational Black Americans are.
Somebody sent me this link of some dude. He made this one dude. I think he's in the UK. I don't know. I think he might be either Nigerian or from Jamaica. I don't know who he is, but he was criticizing me. I'm
not Nigerian, by the way.
Talking about, us being foundational Black Americans and talking about how Black Americans, this dude, now I want y'all to listen to this. He's talking about how we, foundational Black Americans, we have an identity crisis. So I think this guy is Nigerian, by the way.
No, I'm Jamaican.
He's talking about how foundational Black Americans, we have an identity crisis. Now I want y'all to listen to this. Somebody sent me this. And listen to the projection and the lies that this type of guy, dudes like this use. Listen to the projection and the lies. Hold on. And while I'm doing this, hit the Hidden History Museum link and contribute to the museum.
Recent years, I've been watching the African American community, right? And the African American community seem to be going through an identity crisis. That's just my own personal view. So what I've watched is African Americans say that they're African American. Then I've heard them say that they're American. They're not African. I heard them say that they're Black, and then came in. They said they're not Black, they're Moors. Then they said they're not Moors. Then they said they are Aboriginal.
Yep.
Then they said they're not Aboriginal, that they are ADOS. And then they went from ADOS, which is American Descendants of Slaves, to FBA, which is Foundational Black Americans. So to me, right, watching that from over here, seems like there's an identity crisis with a lot of Black people in America.
Right.
It's not.
Currently, the FBA, Foundational Black Americans, is being led by a guy called Tariq Nasheed.
Okay, let's stop there. I'm not leading Foundational Black Americans. You can't lead a lineage. A Foundational Black American is what you are. You're born a foundational Black American.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to continue. Right, so he says he's not leading the foundational Black Americans. However, most of the rhetoric from foundational Black Americans is coming from Tariq Nasheed, from as far as I can see. Now, foundational Black Americans may be a group of people. However, the main voice, Tariq, is yours. You know that, and most of the people that call themselves foundational Black Americans know that. You say it's a lineage. I want to kind of touch on that for a second. You say it's a lineage, and lineages are found in DNA. And as far as I know, you can't find foundational Black American anywhere in anyone's DNA. So I want to understand your thinking and your reasoning behind that for a sec. Let's continue on.
I cannot lead a lineage. When I speak of foundational Black Americans, see, don't mix me with ADOS. ADOS is a bullshit LGBT organization that means anything. I don't know what that shit is. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. Foundational Black American, that's a lineage. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You can't lead a lineage. It's a lineage. You are a foundational Black American. If you are a descendant of slaves, if you came from this lineage, if you are a non-immigrant, you are a foundational Black American. If you are part of the group who founded and built America, you are a foundational Black American. That's not an idea. That's not a theory. A group of Black people built America. That's a fact. There was a group of Black people who built America from scratch when there was no America. It wasn't immigrants. It wasn't Europeans who did it. It was foundational Black Americans, a very distinct group of people who were part of the Aboriginal Black people who were here and some of the Black people who were brought over later on.
Hang on.
Okay?
Hang on.
That combination.
Hold up. So, okay, so you say that the foundational Black Americans built America, and they are from a distinct group of people who were originally here, and then some, you said, that were brought over from somewhere else. Well, that somewhere else would be Africa. And see, this sounds like an Aboriginal argument. It sounds like, in my personal view, this is why I say African Americans are going through an identity crisis because it's as if you don't know who you are, okay? And when you don't know who you are, you tend to cling on to things that are not of you. So if you do your DNA, like I said before in my previous video, what does it come up as? Does it come up as that you're what, Cherokee Indian? Does it come up as you're, I don't know, Navajo? What does it come up as? I'm sure your DNA will come up as a large percent of African. So the fact that you are now claiming more original status than you are African status is just interesting to me. Let's carry on.
And the activities that we had to endure makes us foundational Black Americans. It's that simple. So it ain't led by anybody. It's a lineage. It's that simple. All right, I just wanted to clear that up. See how they try to remix shit for their own narrative? Hold on.
Nasheed has done a documentary series, which has, become very popular, called Hidden Colors. I watched Hidden Colors. I like the documentary. I think there were some things that were missed in that documentary. But what I have noticed is these quote-unquote foundational Black Americans have a disdain to some degree for people who are Black, quote-unquote, but not from America. So
Okay, see that? See, two lies for the price of one.
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, when they say that, that's these niggas projecting. That's them projecting. We don't have no damn disdain for none of these people. We're just not going to let you come over here and undermine us. Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, let's be clear. We don't give a damn about what y'all doing over there. That has zero concern to us. We do have a problem with y'all being brought here to undermine us, to actively work to harm us. We have disdain for that because that makes you a coon. We have disdain for the Candace Owenses and all these people who come here to undermine us.
Okay. This word coon is thrown around a lot, all right? I'm trying to understand, okay, by whose yardstick is someone a coon? Because someone could say that you were being a coon by setting division between groups of Black people when we have a shared experience. Now, I'm sure you have your own yardstick for what a coon is, so I'm going to listen a little bit more. But I just think it's quite interesting because I've been called a coon before. But I'm just wondering what the yardstick for a coon is, and if if there's some certain criterias that you've got to that you've got to adhere to become a coon.
Welcome back to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Patrick Irvin, aka Super Pat, PC, aka Professor Carl Tone Jones, and we are here, as you can see, breaking down this video of a, guess you could say, a spat, a back and forth, a discussion between Tariq Nasheed and Sarah Garvey when Sarah is reacting to a video that Tariq react to about him. And in my opinion, it's petty at the end of the day. It's unproductive at the end of the day. But nevertheless, we want to get to some of the points that were in the video and discuss them and see how relevant it is to us. And do we need to change anything? Do we need to do anything about this? So the first one is he said that Sarah Garvey said he believes from his vantage point that Black Americans have an identity crisis. Pat, since you got that look in your eyes, I'm gonna kick it off to you first. Do Black Americans have an identity crisis? Do FBA Black Americans?
I mean, I don't know if FBA is having an identity crisis, because they different than Black Americans.
Is it?
Yeah, it's different because Black Americans encompasses everybody that's Black and American.
Gotcha.
And FBA apparently is only for those Black folk whose ancestors participated in the construction of this nation. So it's basically only for people that can also call themselves ADOS. So you know what I'm saying? It's so, but yeah, in general, like Black America, there is an identity crisis, and that's identified by the fact that you do have two groups of the exact same people calling themselves different things, led by people that don't like each other. If that ain't a fucking identity crisis, I don't know what is. We can't get past the fact that two people don't like each other and essentially created the same group twice. And now they arguing about who is what. That ain't that it, bro? That's some split personality. They just made a movie about that, didn't they? With Samuel Jackson and the goddamn Bruce Willis. And the dude had
shit.
like 18 personalities. Like, you know what I'm talking about, PC, with the man. I forget what it's called. I think it was called Split or something like that.
Split it, yeah.
Within the Black community, I mean, Cyril Garvey was right on that. You got ADOS, you got FBA, which are essentially, at their core the same thing. Then you got Pan-Africanists and Black nationalists, which underneath both those headings, you have several different other groups. You got your 5%ers, your 1%ers, your 2%ers, like the milk. I just found out about them motherfuckers a couple days ago. You got all kinds of crazy stuff happening. Nobody agrees on nothing. Hell, we can't even agree where we come from. These people say we indigenous. These people say we from the center of the earth. These people say we from the 11th planet that comes close by every 400 years.
Wormwood.
These people say we from Africa.
Oh, wait. That Nibiru shit is real. Nibiru is real. Planet X is real.
I mean, it might be, but it's debatable about whether or not we come from that motherfucker. Like, we got so many different origin stories. That's why we can't identify a superpower, because your origin story is a critical component of what superpower you have. So if you can't agree on your origin story, you really don't know what you're doing. So yeah, I mean, identity crisis. Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm gonna say, but go ahead, PC. Dude, what's your opinion on us having an identity crisis? Is Pat wrong? Is Sarah Garvey wrong? Or you agree with Tariq? What are you thinking? You on your own court?
No, I mean, I think Pat said it all. I mean, Black people, our history is schizophrenic. But if you look at Black people in America specifically, it should be schizophrenic for all the shit we done been through.
That's what I was going
to say. That Black people in America have an identity crisis is not necessarily something new. I think Black people are trying to identify who they are, and through these various journeys and things of that nature. And I also think there's agents of misinformation that add to this too. Some purposefully, some not purposefully. That add to this. And this is, I'm not talking about what's going on between Tariq and Yvette Carnell. But what I'm talking about more so is just that when we think back to the COINTELPRO papers that were released in the 70s, it spoke to the fact that, the greatest thing, the greatest threat to America is a militarized or radicalized, Black community and with Black leaders. So one of the things they would want to do was institute agents of confusion. It'd be it would be very foolish of us to think that that's not happening right now with all the advents of social media, and now we have AI that they could actually create a whole damn video about somebody talking that never took place. So Black people in America, we're still struggling, but I also think it's because we're still the most warred against people on the planet. So with that comes a certain type of traumatic response that spurs the need of discovery to truly find out who we are. What I don't get is why that's so hard for everybody to figure out and see and even understand. And I don't care for people who are not Black Americans to always sort of like give us some type of critique as though their countries of where they're from are not dealing with some type of cultural identity crisis as well. I mean, shit. If you talk about whether you're from Jamaica, whether you're from Nigeria, whether you're from all these other places, you don't even have your own currency. So what identity do you have and what identity are you dealing with? And if I sound like I feel a little bit attacked by that, it's because I do. You know, you shouldn't be throwing rocks over here when you start talking about you want to build a bridge or you want to build unity. It don't start with you tearing us down. It starts with you actually having a legitimate case for understanding. So I think that's straight bullshit. And I don't have anything personally against Sarah Garvey. I actually like a lot of his content. But to do that, man, I don't know what type of shit is he on. And why would he pick and choose this particular battle at this particular time after what he just got out of with his cultural identity crisis with pearly things?
Great point.
See, Joe, I didn't know we could I was trying to see.
Man,
what PC just did wasn't fair.
Ain't nobody make you say nothing. Ain't nobody hold you back.
No, I thought we were sticking to because it make me look crazy because I was just answering the question and PC just shot a whole clip at Sarah Garvey and I had the bullets with his name on it just sitting here like, all right, Joe, tell me when to shoot.
Ain't nobody stop you from shooting, Patrick. We just talked about this. Don't be doing that.
Whatever.
Don't be doing that. Hey man, look.
I grew up PC.
Yeah. Hey, all I'm saying is, for me, like PC said, why wouldn't we have an identity crisis? What has happened in the history of America for Black people to actually have self-actualized? When did that happen? How did that happen? Why would that have happened? But also, I think one thing Sarah Garvey did, give us in the clip is that he's looking from the outside in. He's looking from his vantage point. And it seems as if he hasn't really studied or learned enough about Black American culture, FBA culture, whatever we want to call it, but FBA culture, I guess I say that. He hasn't learned a lot about FBA culture. I don't know how much time he spent in America. I don't know if he's ever been in America. And I don't know how much time that he's spent with Black people from America and actually had these conversations. Like you say, we all agree that, yeah, we got an identity crisis. Black people who believe all types of stuff that's from America. But once again, as PC said, it's like, you thought that wasn't supposed to happen. I mean, like, how do you have the history that we have and then expect us to be sane? Expect us to be whole, expect our stuff to be together. Like how do we, nobody has been able to come out of what we've come out of and create something. So I don't understand why people talk like that, like they know how to create something out of this oppression. And even then, coming from other places within the Black diaspora, aren't we supposed to be like, don't they look at us as like the leaders of the Black diaspora?
No, we do. That's us thing.
Oh.
Well, to a degree, I mean, come on. None of like, you didn't have, until you saw revolts on this particular continent, uprising on this particular continent, it didn't happen anywhere else. Africa was colonized damn near without a fight. Jamaica was created with the same people that are here in America. That was just one stop on the ship.
I'm just saying.
I mean, British parliaments, and see, I don't really want to do this because then it makes it seem like I have a gripe with Jamaicans, and I don't. I don't have a gripe with people of the diaspora. I have a gripe with the people that's from the diaspora that always wants to make it seem as though Black people in America are crazy for no motherfucking reason. Like that's the issue I take up because at some point, take on your real enemy. Stop trying to nitpick over here because you're afraid to deal with the people that are still colonizing you. Stop, and I'm not talking to Jamaicans. I'm talking to one particular Jamaican that made that video. Why, to be smug and arrogant, like you're sitting in a place, an ivory tower, is ridiculous. When you make those particular claims, because now I gotta ask you, who the hell are you? Are you truly Jamaican? Like, so see where we can go with this, and it's not productive for us to do this particular thing because once again, Black people tearing down Black people.
I found something.
Well, it's because the real enemy ain't ain't got no smoke for them.
Well, I think, but this also is exposing that we all have identity crisis. We all insane. We're all messed up because